Hi guys. I know I promised to talk about bear rifles, different calibers, bullets, things like that. And I decided to do that today. First of all, let me explain what the different types of bear rifles. Now, this is really there's a lot of rabbit holes you can go into when you start getting into the particulars, but just in a kind of overall look at what makes a good bear rifle and what type is good for certain types of hunting. Um, So there's three types of bear rifles. There's an offensive bear rifle, which is what someone that was hunting with me, a visiting sportsman that booked a hunt with me, they would want an offensive type of bear rifle. There's a defensive type of bear rifle. Now that's something just for self-protection, tracking wounded bears, and you could also consider like a gun that would be appropriate for a baited kind of black bear hunt. A defensive bear rifle would be good in that scenario too because it's super close range. And then there's a hybrid. Now hybrid is a combination of an offensive and defensive type of bear gun. Now in the real world, I prefer to have the right gun for the job. So the hybrid thing is kind of like it's okay for the hunter, and if you're the hunted, it's okay for that, but it's not great for either one. So I thought in this video we delve into the offensive type of bear gun because that's the type of gun that you guys are going to be using if you book a hunt with me. So to start with, the biggest misconception people, or the biggest mistake people make when they're picking out their bear rifles, is they equate bears with dangerous game, which they are, but they equate it with African dangerous game, which they are not. So what that means is you don't bring your elephant rifle on a brown bear hunt. It's completely inappropriate. The caliber's wrong. The handling of the rifle's wrong. Usually the scope or sights are wrong. Really, for a brown bear or grizzly bear hunt, especially in the springtime, grizzlies in the mountains, grizzlies on the tundra, brown bears in the spring, you want a rifle that would closely resemble an elk rifle that you would use for cross canyon shots. So you want a fairly substantial rifle that doesn't move once you get your rest and you're aiming at the bear. You want one that's got a little bit of heft to it so that you can hit your target accurately. Now, super lightweight guns are fine and dandy for goat hunting and sheep hunting, but you don't need it, you don't want it for bear hunting. So pretty substantial rifle, pretty accurate rifle, and you want a good scope. You need to have a good scope so you can see where your bullets are hitting, how you hit the bear, so you can get a really good shot on the bear. It can turn down to 2, 3, 4 power at the minimum is fine, but it should be able to turn up to 8, 9, 10, 12 power at the maximum. So like I said, you just want a pretty substantial rifle physically for bear hunting if you're in an offensive bear hunting kind of situation. So as far as calibers go, honestly, anything from 300 to 375. In the 300, you'd want a fairly heavy bullet for caliber, and by that I mean like a 180 grain bullet. I don't mean crazy town 220 grain stuff where you lose all your velocity and you turn a 300 into something that's not. And then in the 375, once you get to the bigger end of the range of appropriate bear calibers, you actually want to use a lighter bullet so that you can keep your velocity up, because the velocity is important. Contrary to what a lot of people say, velocity has a really good shock effect on bears, and if you can keep it up over 2,000 feet per second at the impact point. So if your rifle's shooting 3,000 feet per second, it's going to be 2,000 feet per second, quite a ways away. If it's shooting 2,200 feet per second, it's going to be down to 2,000 feet per second, not too far away. So bear that in mind. That's why with the bigger calibers, up to a 375, you should shoot the 250, 260, 270 grain bullets, something that you can have some good velocity out at distance with. Now, as far as bullet choice goes, You don't want a bullet that's too hard. That's another really big mistake people make, is they bring a bullet that's virtually indestructible. And the problem with a bullet that's virtually indestructible is it doesn't do anything to the bear. A bullet needs to open up good, not explosively. You don't want the bullet just to hit the bear hair and explode into a big fireball. That's not right, but you want one that opens up good and causes massive hemorrhage and damage to the bear. So some of these monolithic, all copper bullets, they're totally inappropriate for bear hunting. They'll zip right through a bear and make a little pencil hole in it, and the bear will run off, and we'll find a couple spots of blood here or there, and I swear the dang bears live. It doesn't do anything to them, and half the time I can't even tell the bear was hit. There's no big reaction. The bear runs off, and it doesn't cripple the bear, knock him down, nothing. So I would rather have a bullet that was slightly frangible, but with some kind of locking mechanism, like whether it's bonded or has a partition, you know, like the A-frame and the Nosler partition are both good bullets. And then there's some bonded ones out there, like the Nosler AccuBond is a good one, the Swift Scirocco. All of those types of bullets are good. Just stay away from bullets that are too hard, and stay away from calibers that shoot the bullet too slow. So you want to have good velocity for the shock effect, and a bullet that's going to shed some material. I don't want the thing to shed all the material, but up to about 50% is not that bad of a situation. If your bullet weighs 100% when you dig it out of a bear, that's not good. You want it to weigh 50 to 75% of what it did before you fired it. That's telling you that parts and pieces went everywhere. So it's going to do some more damage to the bear. So anyhow, and you don't want a caliber that's so large that it's not shootable. That's another problem people run into. They bring their elephant guns, and the problem with that is, number one, the bullets are too slow. They're too heavily constructed, so they're not doing much damage to the bear, even though it's a big diameter slug. It's not doing any damage. And the recoil gets to the point where it's totally unmanageable. So you may get one shot off and hit the bear and not really cripple him that badly because the bullet's too hard and going too slow. But then when it comes time to lay some more shots onto the bear, the dang gun jumped totally out of your hands. The scope hit you in the face. Trigger guard cut your finger open. Half your bullets fell out of the floor plate when it fell open, and it's completely unmanageable. So repeat shootability is just non-existent with those really big calibers. And I'm talking about bigger than 375 H&H. 375 H&H is a super shootable caliber, not much recoil, plenty of velocity, and like I said, on the smaller end, a 300 Winchester is completely adequate for any bear that ever lived. If you hit a bear solid in the body with a 300, he's got seconds to live. Contrary to what other people may say, honestly, people that disagree with using a 300 are reading too many comic books and not shooting enough bears. That's where that comes from. Anyhow, personally, I like a rifle right in the middle. I like 338s, 358s. I do love 375 H&H, and I do love 300s, especially in the springtime. I personally really like a 300 Ultra Mag, which is a great bear caliber. But for just general purposes, the 338s, 358s, those are really hard to beat. Shoot anywhere from 200 to 250 grain bullets, pretty good velocity. They're gonna perform like clockwork, day in and day out. You're gonna get a really nice effect with those calibers. Now, this particular rifle here, this is a build that I just finished. This is the kind of gun that I personally use. So, and one of the reasons I like rifles like this one's a 338. I like to shoot 225 grain bullets in this. I use some nice bonded bullets with the plastic tip, you know, to get some good aerodynamics out of it so that I can retain that velocity and energy downrange a ways. This particular rifle with this, as it sits right now, is about 9 pounds, 8-9 pounds, probably close to 9 pounds. By the time it's scoped up and everything, it's going to be with a magazine in it, you know, it'll hold 20 rounds. I usually use 10 round mags. So scoped up with a nice big 50 millimeter scope in the 4 to 14 range with a 10 round mag. It's probably going to be about 12 pounds, 11 to 12 pounds. And that's really nice because when you do get a rest, because you'll be losing your breath. Usually you have to move quickly. You see the bear, it's in and out of the trees. It could be anywhere from 100 to 250 yards away. You get up on the bear, you're going to make a shot. The bear's not just going to stand there and take a nap in a field while you catch your breath. Okay, we've been hunting hard for a week to find this one big bear, and you need to act quick. So the nice thing about a heavy rifle is, even though you're winded and you're going to be excited, trust me, I've been in on hundreds of bear kills, and I'm pretty much always excited when the time comes. So you're gonna be breathing hard, you're gonna be a little shaky. You get the gun on a nice rock for a rest, maybe with a backpack underneath it, and it's heavy enough that though you're breathing and kind of a little jittery, it's not gonna move. It's gonna stay on the bear, and you'll hit it. Another good thing about these rifles is it's a semi-automatic, which they're the best. I'm just going to tell you, the semi-automatic's the way to go. Number one, it sucks up all the recoil. Number two, you can just keep shooting. Shoot the bear, pow, pow, pow. You know, you're going to lay some lead on him, and he's not going to get away. We're not going to be tracking wounded bears, which is a whole nother can of worms, because that gets to be super dangerous, and it's not something anybody wants to have to do. That eliminates that, pretty much. So keep the calibers in the mid range, not too big, not too small. Keep the velocity up. Use reasonable bullets. Don't go crazy town on the bullets with something that's completely indestructible. That's not appropriate. And use a rifle that you can pour the lead onto the bear with. Something that you can get 1 or 2 shots in. You know, I know in Africa they like to use double rifles, and in my mind that's a 2-shot semi-automatic. That's why they use that. They're going to get the second shot off quickly, and it's going to work. You know, there's no monkeying with the bolt handle or pumping it or jacking another shell in. It basically is, like I said, it's a two-shot semi-automatic. Well, this is the same thing, except it's a 10 or 20 or 25 shot semi-automatic. So anyhow, that's all as far as I want to go on the bear guns. We'll do another video when we can talk about the defensive type of bear gun and the intermediate, and we can and we can get into bullets. We'll talk about specifically what kind of bullets you want, etc. But I just wanted you guys to have like a good overall feel for what's appropriate as a visiting sportsman who's on a guided hunt for bears versus what you read in the magazine, because those are two completely different things. So hopefully that gives you guys something to gnaw on, and we'll upload another video pretty soon talking about getting into it in more depth. But thanks.